Hello, it's Stu here from DIYmusic.co.uk with another FL Studio tutorial. This time we're looking at a basic sidechain compression using the Fruity limiter. What I've got is a basic loop made up of the bass, chords and a kick. I'll just play that for you. And what we want to do is achieve that classic pumping sound on the bass and the chords, which is achieved by using the kick as a sidechain to trigger the compressor. What compression basically does is turn the volume of a signal down when another signal or the signal going through it hits a certain threshold. And it can be used to reduce the peaks in audio signal, effectively squashing the sound. But what we want to do with sidechain compression is have the kick trigger the compressor to turn the volume down on the bass and the chords in this example. So what we're going to do is set up a track called a sidechain track, and on that we're going to have the bass and the chords going through it. So bass, route to this track only, and chords, route to this track only. So if I play that, you'll see the bass and the chords are going through the sidechain track. Okay, and then we're going to load up a Fruity limiter. Here we go. Now this is a limiter, but it's also a compressor. So we'll select compressor from the two choices here. And you can see you get the compressor settings. When I play, you should see the signal for the bass and the chords going through there. So that's showing the waveform of the audio that's going through the sidechain track. Okay, now we're going to sidechain the kick to this same track. Choose kick, right click, and sidechain to this track. Now you can see sidechain is essentially the same as routing, but with no volume. So it knows the kick's going through, but it won't play it. You won't hear the kick. So it's important that that is down at 0 if you're doing proper sidechaining. Okay, so now what we need to do is reduce the threshold a tiny bit on the limiter. So the compressor kicks in. You can see the blue line is the threshold, and the blue line at an angle is representing the ratio, and that's how much it's going to squash the audio, how much it's going to turn the volume down on the audio when the compressor is triggered. That's affected by the ratio. We'll need something there. It can't be 0 or it won't do anything. So we'll try something fairly high, about 4. So anything above that threshold is going to start to get squashed according to that angle. Now, we need to tell the compressor which signal to read to trigger the compressor. At the moment, this is 3 dots. That means it's just going to be triggered by whatever is routed through the sidechain track. We want to have the kick as the sidechain. So we need to select the first option, which should be kick, because that's the first track that is going into the sidechain track. Hopefully now when I play, you should see the kick represented as a waveform along here. There you go. See the blue line here? That shows the kick waveform. The other line is the signal that's actually going through the sidechain. So what you'll find is as we reduce the threshold to below the level where the kick is reaching, it'll start turning the volume down on the bass and the chords, which are routed through here. So I'll just play that and you can see. See how that works? So as the kick drum volume goes up, the volume gets turned down on whatever's going through the sidechain track. That is basic sidechain compression. You can change a few things like the ratio the attack and the release to get it sounding how you want. The ratio is how quickly or how much it turns the volume down as it goes over that threshold level. So if it's like nothing, or if it's bang in the middle, it won't do anything at all. The higher it is, the more aggressively it's going to turn the volume down. So something about 4 in this case is okay. The attack is how quickly it turns the volume down when the sidechain and kick triggers it. In this case, you want it to be quite quick because you want that volume to drop as soon as the kick hits. So that's fine. The release is how quickly the volume gets turned back up again after the drum, the kick, or whatever is sidechained into here finishes. Now that's important because depending on the tempo of your music and the style, you're going to want to adjust that so it sounds just right. Now I'm going to show you what happens as you move that so you can see the difference it makes. See, if the release is too long, the volume never gets back to normal again, so that sounds completely wrong. If it's too short, it jumps back up way too quickly and just sounds distorted. So you need to find that perfect balance somewhere in the middle. Where the track really starts to bounce. Okay, so that is how you set up a basic sidechain compression route. I'll leave it at that for now. If you've got any questions, please put them below this video or below the post on my website, just diymusic.co.uk. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter at DIY Music Blog. And that's it for now. I hope to hear from you again, and take care. Thank you.